Tonight, a News 10 NBC exclusive interview with the man police say is a suspect in the disappearance of Brittany Drexel. For years, her family has been awaiting news about what happened to her. The child-eyed teen had gone with friends to Myrtle Beach during spring break 2009. She was last seen leaving the Blue Water Hotel. Since then, police have run down hundreds of leads with no answers. In June, new developments in the case began to emerge when federal authorities held a news conference to say they were certain Drexel was dead and that she had been seen and held against her will in a town called McClellanville. Then in August, an FBI agent testified in court that they had zeroed in on a man named Davidsen Taylor from South Carolina, who they called a target of the investigation. Taylor has not been charged at this point in connection with Brittany's kidnapping or death. So last week I went to South Carolina and sat down with him in his attorney's office for a face-to-face interview where he answered questions with no restrictions.
And I began by asking him the questions everyone wants answers to.
I may as well start with the obvious question. Did you kill Brittany Drexel?
No, sir. I did not kill Brittany Drexel.
Were you involved in the kidnapping of Brittany Drexel?
No, sir, I was not.
Were you with Brittany Drexel the night she disappeared in April of 2009?
No, sir. I was not with her.
In fact, 24-year-old Davidsen Taylor claims he never met Brittany Drexel.
The only thing I've known is from what I've been seeing on TV and the bulletins and what the FBI has been telling me so far.
Taylor lives in McClellanville, South Carolina, a small seaside town about an hour south of Myrtle Beach. The last signal from Brittany's cell phone came from near here. A pair of sunglasses similar to what she was seen wearing were also located along a riverbank in the same area. It's clear from talking to Taylor that he was under suspicion by local police early on in the investigation.
Have you taken a lie detector on this?
Yes, sir, back in 2009.
And do you remember what the questions were?
Not currently what the questions were, not exactly, but I remember a few questions they asked me. Did I know her? Did I ever meet her? Have I been around her at that time?
And do you recall what the result of that polygraph was?
At that time, they told me that everything was okay and that they would reach back out to me later.
But Taylor says that was the last time he heard from authorities about Drexel until this summer. During a court hearing in August, an FBI agent told a judge they received information from a jailhouse informant named Taquan Brown, who claimed he saw Taylor with Drexel at a stash house in McClellanville. We tracked down the stash house in question, verified by neighbors who tell me they've seen agents searching the property on more than one occasion. The informant told the FBI that when he came to this house, he actually saw Davidsen Taylor sexually assaulting Brittany Drexel. He says Brittany tried to escape, ran out of the house, but was caught, pistol whipped, and then shot. Brown told the FBI that Brittany's body was then taken away and tossed into an alligator swamp. According to the FBI agent's testimony, Brown claimed Taylor's father, Sean Taylor, was also at the house and suspected it was Sean Taylor who shot Brittany. Are you aware at all of your father having any involvement in this Brittany Drexel case?
No, sir.
Had you ever heard anything or heard him talk about Brittany Drexel? Or?
No, sir.
Taylor's attorney, Mark Pepper, says the informant is just trying to cut a deal. He says on the days and times Brown claimed he saw Taylor at the stash house, records show his client was in school.
He doesn't know anything, and so that's the problem. They didn't bother to do their homework regarding Taquan Brown's statement.
Pepper says authorities have found another way to put his client in prison, charging him in federal court in connection with a robbery that took place in 2011. Taylor already confessed to that crime in state court and served a probationary sentence. He now faces 10 years to life if convicted of the new charges. His attorney says they're using it to get information about the Drexel case.
They squeeze people. They try to put you in a position where you have no choice but to answer that door and go sit in a room and answer their questions. Whether you know the answers or not, doesn't matter.
In online postings, Brittany's father, Chad Drexel, has said they have additional evidence through a private investigator that links Davidsen Taylor to his daughter's disappearance. But because of the sensitivity of the investigation, he could not reveal what he knows. Chad Drexel declined to be interviewed for this story.
They believe you're involved. Anything that you would say to them?
I would tell them deeply I apologize for their loss, and I sincerely do apologize for their loss. And I honestly hope that they find who've done this and give them justice, but I honestly don't have anything or have any information to help them because I honestly don't know anything.
Now, Chad Drexel has said that he remembers meeting Taylor shortly after Brittany disappeared and even handed him a missing person flyer. He says Taylor was in a car and says he crumpled up the flyer and threw it out the window as they drove away. I asked Taylor about that. He says he has no recollection of ever meeting Brittany's father.
Well, Brett, you spent quite a bit of time with Deshaun Taylor. Did you get the sense that he was being truthful with you?
Well, it's hard to say, having never met him before, but I will say this. I've covered a lot of criminal cases, and attorneys almost never let you speak to their clients if they think they might say something that could be damaging. That's not to say I believe Taylor wasn't involved or didn't have any knowledge of what happened to Brittany Drexel, but I think his attorney does believe his client is telling the truth. Incidentally, our viewers can watch the entire interview with Deshaun Taylor. It's up on our website at WHEC.com.